Half-ruined castles, ancient towns, mysterious caves. Every year, archaeologists find hundreds of artifacts. To find the truth and unravel what's left to us from our ancestors, the crew of Archeology Mystery of History program, together with scientists, are investigating objects found on site of historic events. Watch our program and get ready for exciting discoveries.
The history of the mankind has many mysteries. Petroglyphs are one of the greatest mysteries of antiquity. They might be found in most distant corners of the earth. Some petroglyphs are simple and clear to modern men. Others still excite the imagination of researchers to these days, lead to development of incredible assumptions. One of these unique places is located 170 kilometers away from Almaty, among Ankarai Mountains. It is a Tanbaly reserve area, an ancient open-air sanctuary. Kazakhstan is the most important province of the rock-carving art, not only of Central Asia, but of the Eurasian space, the Old World. The most interesting drawings are concentrated in Jetisu. Petroglyphs of Tanbaly stand out among them. They were included in the list of UNESCO World Heritage. A ridge of moderate rocky mountains opens to the eyes of the travelers in the middle of the steppe. A closer look reveals that rocks are covered with drawings. They are best visible just before the sun sets. Soft light makes them legible, as if they are protruding from the stone. Artists of the past chose this place for a reason. They looked for a rock with good patina. A freshly drawn image would stand out better on a surface that's almost black. Over time, it got covered in desert tan. The darker the image, the older it's dated. Besides, this place is quiet and well hidden from strangers' eyes. A sacred growth and a water spring, the best place for the sanctuary. Sanctuaries were different. They didn't build big temples during the Sumerian and other Middle Eastern states period. Initially, open-air areas were used as natural temples. This is what our Tanbaly used to be.
Таким природным храмом является и наше святилище в Танбали.
The petroglyphs in Tanbaly Trek were discovered in 1957. Well-known Kazakhstani archaeologist Alexey Maryashev led the excavations here in the early 80s. The petroglyphs of Tanbaly are most researched rock art object of Kazakhstan. Yet Professor Maryashev thinks it's one of a kind.
Почему он стал уникальный вопрос? Прежде всего,
Why it became unique? Because most rock images of Bronze Age are concentrated here. Moreover, we can definitely say that there are drawings dated back to the middle of the second millennium and the end of the second millennium. A few belong to Saka period. Scientists found more than 3,000 petroglyphs on Tanbaly rocks. The biggest and most expressive group of petroglyphs belongs to the Bronze Age. Looking closely at those, one will notice that there are no daily routine images, no images of sheep, main sources of nutrition of steppe dwellers. Instead, there are many images of sacred animals.
Вот перед вами древний тур, но здесь изображение более...
Here is an ancient ox. This is a schematic picture. It is interesting in another respect. The figure of this ox is ornamented with dots as counter-reliefs. These circles stand out. Besides, bull is associated with the phallic cult. You see, its gender is emphasized, because a bull as well as a goat was associated with fertility symbols. In ancient people's mind, the image of the bull depicted sun. Tanbaly rocks preserved the image of a solar deity on top of the bull. Modern cattle descended from that ox bull. This strong, redoubtable animal used to inhabit vast steppes of Eurasia. These extinct species, animals feared by people, still lived in the Middle Ages. The last Aurochs cow died in Polish Nature Reserve in 1627. Now we are studying the traces of their existence.
Впоследствии мы теперь уже изучаем следы пребывания здесь этих животных.
Researchers divided Tanbaly petroglyphs into 7 groups, which differ in terms of dates, plot, technique, and location. The key symbols revealing the world of ancient men of Andronova culture were images of deities. Because they were providing life, there were several deities. Each deity was in charge of some particular sphere, and nimbus around the head represented the sun. Especially those rays that go around the head, they point out that it's a solar deity. There is no secrecy. Asia had Mithra, and there were solar deities in other countries.
Например, в Средней Азии бог солнца Митра был. Солнечные боги были в других странах.
Солнцеголовые там галинские считаются вообще эталонными.
Tamgali sun-headed images are considered as reference petroglyphs of the Bronze Age of Central Asia. To this day, at least. Researchers have different interpretation of the significance and the meaning of these sun-headed figures. It's either gods or simply people wearing sun-shaped masks. Both could be right.
Люди в солнечных масках и так далее. И те, и другие, может быть, правы.
These figures, though seeming chaotic and obscure, are encryptions of the worldview of the ancient people, their understanding of the universe, the world around them. The solar god was a dominant figure. There are 7 deities in group 4, and all of them are different. They were not made with stencils. Perhaps they carried different functions. Below these deities, there are images of animals. This demonstrates their relationship. Gods are up there, closer to the sky, and man and animal world in below. Underworld is even deeper down. Since it is understood, it is not to be seen. This is the world of the god Horror. People would visit the Tanbaly Gorge following strict schedule, in days of equinoxes and other ancient celebrations, to offer sacrifices to their deities. The rock carvings were part of these religious activities. They reflected the realities of the world at a time when myths were born.
Myth
is not a fairy tale, and for ancient man it was life itself, something that explained the world to him. It was necessary to have an explanation why do this and not do that, what is sacred, what is forbidden, and what is allowed. It was a sanctuary which apparently was used to educate young generation and therefore had limited plots of depicted stories.
И поэтому здесь строго ограниченные сюжеты.
Pioneer researchers have found explanations for bigger part of the petroglyphs, but some images are very hard to encrypt without the hint. Images of people with tails and spikes on their bodies seem strange and mysterious. Who are these mysterious creatures? Alexei Maryashev has his own explanation.
Ответ довольно простой. Это культовая сцена, и любой, скажем, руководитель...
The answer is quite simple. This is a cult site, and the head of this area is a priest, shaman in Middle Ages. They would allow such things without breaking any rules. There was a special ritual. It didn't have to look like a human.
Он не должен был быть похож на человека.
In order to stand out from the ordinary people, priests dressed in animal skins. The tail and spikes were symbolizing his special origin and destiny. Priest shaman played an important role in ancient society. He was the main person to order the topics of the rock art. He was a chief ideologist of his time. But the petroglyphs are more than an image of religious scenes. Their primary function is to store and transmit the information accumulated by mankind, human community, or a separate community for future generations, fixing the events of that time. Petroglyphs of Tanbaly can serve as an excellent material for the restoration of the lifestyle of ancient tribes living in these steppes. Main objects of hunting appear in these images as well: deer, mountain goats, wild horses and camels. Some rock paintings, scenes of taming wild animals or sacrifices. Other petroglyphs are the symbolic images of the birth of a new life. Petroglyphs of the Bronze Age are most complex in content and composition. They consist of several figures. They tell different stories through different means. Rock images were cut with specially picked stones. It was too costly to use metal, copper or iron. Based on the images of tools and types of weapons depicted by ancient artists, it is possible to determine the period these petroglyphs belong to. They carry maces in their hands. This is an ancient era. They hold warhammer-like weapons in later period images. You may distinguish when they fought with maces or warhammers, as well as tell difference from the images depicting later tools. In figures of early Iron Age, people were portrayed with daggers. But a soldier holding a bow, this is the beginning of a new era, although it appeared much earlier in some parts of the world. The bow and arrow were introduced into the steppes of Kazakhstan around the beginning of the new era. There are some images of the Usun epoch, but the main volume of images of the complex bow belongs to the medieval times. Runic characters are even scarcer on Tanbaly rocks. These characters encode the circles of time of the ancient men: day, year, solar and lunar cycles of many years. Scientists believe that art of Tanbaly can only be understood at the intersection of many sciences. Petroglyphs are a special kind of historical source. This is not only a source of historical knowledge. This is the source of universal importance, the source for the history of art, ideology, literature, philosophy, etc. Therefore, the approach to the study of these kind of sources should be multidisciplinary. Today, Tanbaly is one of the historical and cultural brands of Kazakhstan. Local and foreign tourists come here to witness the mysterious images of the past and read messages that ancient inhabitants of Jetesu had left behind.